Morning, fellow zombies. It's 1:54 in the morning, West Coast time, Monday, the 3rd of June, 2024. We were John C. Roseman, California, being burned down left and right. Over the past few weeks, we've been getting brush fires out here, and some of the neighbors out here are worried whether or not we've got an arsonist out here. And this is not unprecedented. This is rattling because now I got to be more worried about July 4th coming up. Whether or not we're actually going to have our neighbors wanting and willing and thrilled to do having a fireworks displays going on. I'm not looking forward to the damn thing because I don't want my area getting barbecued. I really don't. Worse off, these kids don't have any sense in their head of what fire safety is all about. They're not seeing the reports, or else they're not paying attention to the smoke in the air, to the scent of it every so often. Once in a while, we will have controlled burns in Edwards Air Force Base area, trying to clear off the brush. They get it cleared through the local people out here to let them know what was going on by alerting us about it, and to base personnel about it. But when it comes down for the town proper, we hear about it through social media, we hear about it through word of mouth, but they will let us know. But we still have a few other people freaking out about it. The ones we do worry about, maybe if there was an accident that causes a spark, something scraping, metal scraping against rock causes a spark. Or even rock sometimes will do that. Whatever the cause, human or by nature, that's the thing I'm still worried about, because we still have a lot of brush out there. Heat's coming up, drying things out. We have prime fuel in our town of Roseman and in the Antelope Valley. Over the past several months, we've been having several fires out in this place. I'm looking on Google Maps of the entire area of Antelope Valley. There had been sections ranging from the west end, pointed end, extending all the way east in certain areas. If it's uninhabited, we're still getting the brush fires over there threatening habited areas. Even in Rosemont, we have uninhabited brush areas and mountainous terrain, or very hilly terrain with brush on it, that had been scaring my neighbors over the past several hours. Hell, past the entire day, actually. They have also been terrified when we actually had somebody or something causing a fire by accident in a property right in the middle of town, and everyone else was going ape on this one. Not because the property was small, but we only burned about 680 acres of the place, turned it black. So that was gnarly enough. And it terrified a lot of people. My area that I live in, I have trailer homes across the street from me that are tinderboxes. I have on the east side of my complex brush area, a lot of brush area. And I'm worried about it because we have no escape plan and no way of telling people what's going on unless they see somebody doing something stupid out there. Like maybe doing ATVs over there. Or maybe if somebody's going to be doing a homeless camp out there. That's another thing, right? It takes the fire department about 10 minutes or more to get over a freeway hump. We have no station out here on the East End. We only have one fire station with 4 engines in Roseman, California. And that's on the west end. Well, that's about it. We have no other help. About 10 to 15 minutes racing through Roseman Boulevard, trying to get through traffic to get over here. 4 ambulances from one ambulance company. This is a service between 20 and 25,000 people, residents we have in this town. Not much. We don't have an all-volunteer fire department or EMS services like that. Hell, we don't even have we don't have an urgent care or a doctor. We're screwed on that. We have to farm them out to Lancaster for that. Or maybe if we're lucky enough, if Roseman's got any doctors available, or even Tehachapi. But they have no Trauma 1 levels. Only Antelope Valley Hospital has. And almost barely a trauma level out in Palmdale Regional Medical Center in Palmdale. So yeah. So we got the fire season. Well, I would call this fire season because once the heat kicks in and we get the wind patterns shifting to it's going to be offshore instead of onshore, then we're really in trouble. But if it's going to be blowing onshore and blowing north by northeast, well, we may be okay on that. But if it happens to switch to offshore, going south by southwest or by north by northwest, I worry about the tinderboxes outside surrounding our area. I know in the other video I was talking about to a friend of mine about his panic and fear regarding the political situations happening. Yeah, we live in an uncertain territory at this point over here. But me pointing fingers at everybody else and trying to say it's all your fault, I'm saying it's everybody's fault. Mine too. You have to be stepping up to accountability, transparency, and responsibility. If you can't do that, then what the hell are you doing? Blaming everybody else for your own stupid mistakes? I make my mistakes. I'm not proud of them. I've done a lot of things I still have to clean up in my past. But I'm not going to let the fear really screw me over because I know how that gets me worried. There are certain levels of fear I can deal with and other levels of fear I choose not to deal with. And panicking how the country is going to be going into a tailspin at this point over here. It's like I'm doing Chicken Little all over again. I have to be smart about this one. I have to be cautious and careful about this one. But I also have to know the facts in the situation. I worried a great deal, and I said so myself in videos I've done, about life around here in my town and also in Antelope Valley. I live with the fear of fire all the time. Growing up in Southern California, we're living in fire season all the time, 24/7. It wasn't like that when the climate was a little bit different. And we weren't getting in as much hot zones 24/7. But we expected in certain stretches of month that we would actually have fire happening in the hillsides and the mountain regions. I'm still expecting that to happen again for the hillsides and the mountain regions we have in the Antelope Valley. I'm still worried about that one. If I look back at the San Fernando Valley right now, if I put on the Google Maps and I do a satellite search, satellite image of it, just use the Google Maps on it, and look at the surrounding landscape we have. We have tinderbox all over the place. The rains helped in trying to secure a watershed for us. But when the old brush, the old growth is not replaced somehow, we will have landslides. we need to have the growth with extensive root systems going deep into the earth, so hopefully hold the earth while it's still getting soaked. Because if we have strong enough root systems going on, we might be able to hold out on any landslides or any flooding happening. But with all the fires happening at this point, it takes off the chaparral and the cover above the surface, and that makes the ground more loose. So when we do have the rains coming in, it's no wonder we had flooding and landslides all over the place. Topanga Canyon is one of those places that was shut down for a while. There had been fires over the years that weakened the area. And with the rains coming in, with the weakened root system, or whatever it is necessary to hold the soil together, well, unfortunately, we had a massive landslide and shut off access. So people had to find ways around the main drag of Topanga. Not to mention, we've got towns in there, little mini towns, that depend upon tourists. Thing is, they depend upon people traveling in and out of their area, through their area. In the summertime, they were worried more whether or not they're actually going to be getting any activity in the area. But because Caltrans had been working round the clock, non-stop in certain areas, but also limited in other times as well, I guess, they had to make sure that the grounds in the area were secure enough in one particular spot. They hadn't said anything else. They hadn't noticed any other slides happening in the canyon areas. But at least people in the towns were actually able to get in and out and have customers come through. There are specialty shops out there. And people show their arts and craft and unique gifts. So I'm hoping that they will continue to do so. At one time, when I was actually able to travel between San Fernando Valley and Malibu Canyon, actually through PCH, I was actually able to look at the lovely area. They're terrified of fires, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. But living in a canyon is challenging enough dealing with the wildlife out there. But the thing is, what we worried more about in the neighborhoods is what fire would do to certain areas. And there's only one main road in and out of Topanga Canyon, and that's the canyon road itself. So when there was fires happening in that area throughout the decades, they had depended upon the canyon road to get themselves out of there. And sometimes it wasn't safe to go into PCH unless the fire department actually made sure that the area was cleared, and so was the California Highway Patrol, trying to make sure that the roads were clear enough to get evacuations going. Living in Southern California, I really had to look at the topography and terrain that we have. Certain areas that would be devastating, and other areas that are just incredible, incredulous to see that we would have fires happening in certain areas that would cause a lot of panic. A lot worse than the maggot rallies out there and people spewing off anger and hatred. I worry more about the environmental hazards than I do worry about someone else's mental health. Individuals are one thing, but collective? Maybe we do need to get our asses kicked in this country. No, because if we can't get off our dead asses to figure this shit out, we're really in trouble, aren't we? I said before, I got a friend of mine online. He's worried. He's panicking. Maybe he's got it right. I don't know. I hope not. I hope he's got the wrong reason for this one because I don't, I'm not trying to see the panic at this point over here. I'm trying to get a clear head. The people want to instill fear and terror because that's how they control. Well, the only way I say something about that was usually flipping a finger off at them. Gee, I don't know how that works anyway. I'm just putting my glasses on my face here. So. But I'm not going to let those idiots tell me how to live and how to exist in my life. I don't. You wear all the damn MAGA hats and fly the flags upside down. You just look more like an idiot than ever. For me, yeah, I can talk to political crap all day if I wanted to on this channel. I choose not to. Unless it's merited. I was trying to make a point with him concerning about a Kentucky law that passed a few months, about less than a month ago. A Safer Act, they called it in Kentucky. Basically allows people to shoot other people. If you're homeless, you're FUBAR. They passed a law against homeless. You're not allowed to be homeless. Go somewhere else. Go live somewhere else. You can't be homeless, otherwise we shoot you. We stand our ground. We protect our ground. But we shoot you anyway. You happen to get on our property, for whatever reason, we shoot you anyway. Get the independents talking about it, and they're rattled about it. I wouldn't blame them. One of the gurus of the independents out there, where people following and flocking like crazy. Oh, the fifth column. I'll just label him on that one. Oh yeah, he thinks he's wise and everything else. I'm like, no, he isn't. He's a guy reacting to everything else just like a mosquito bite half the time. Probably for commercialism. And so is my friend out there in Connecticut. The only thing we got in common is we both don't like Trump, and we're both recovering people. Him addict, me alcoholic. Alcoholism sucks. And yes, we hear the nose concerning about Trump and his mouth and everything else going on. But they'll say it. We got the people out there reacting, overreacting left and right. And I'm pushing the envelope saying, there's my door. I don't hear knocking. I don't hear the comments rolling. I don't see anything of it. So, not stressing over their insanity. But everybody else is. And on certain news organizations, they'll allow Trump's lawyers to talk about crap. They've already been shot down in court already. Trump got convicted for his mouth and for his business practices, but more like for his mouth. Even in civil court. And they still think Biden set it up the whole thing. That's what they keep saying on Fox and everything else related to these schmucks. They get fact-checked, and they don't believe in the fact-check. They think they know better. But they can't prove it. Are we split and divided? Yeah, well, we're definitely showing it, aren't we? What are we going to do about it? Well, it's not November. It's June. Let them speak. Let them spill. Let them rant and rave like the lunatics they are. Me, on the other hand, I still got to deal with life and life's terms. And the only way I can tell them that is, you're going to be an idiot, you're going to be spouting off your mouth, you're going to be flying the flag, you think that's going to help much? I'll just see the flag and say, okay, so what? And I'm not going to react to your panic. You're panicking, you're fearful. You think the country's going downhill. Got it worse than Chicken Little screaming and yelling, the sky is falling. Well, look at the sky. Is it falling? Usually there's something of mass coming down. You see, I see gas. Gas we breathe in our lungs, and sometimes we got other things in the lungs that we don't like to breathe in, like smoke inhalation. But I don't see the sky falling, do you? Now, if we actually had a black hole just visited us in our solar system, then I'd panic. Even a primordial one, if it's about a planet mass, that'll do some damage in our solar system, wouldn't it? But we don't have any of that one close by, except maybe several thousand light years away from us, in one direction or another. We're not ringed by them, nor do we have a supermassive black hole in our galaxy. Well, actually, we do have one in the galaxy. We do have one in the Milky Way galaxy. And we don't have one in a nearby neighborhood that wants to swallow our solar system or our entire galaxy up. Except maybe if we're talking about billions and billions and billions of light years away from us at the edge of the universe, where you have older black holes that ate up everybody else. So you got one or two, maybe several of them out there just slurp sucking things. How does that grab you? Scare you yet? But that's billions and billions and billions of light years. That's extreme distance. Now it's the neighborhood I worry about. About several thousand light years, one direction or another. Black hole over here, black hole over there. It's interesting how they locate these suckers. You can't see a black hole because of the gravitational force, unless they're emitting radiation that may be visible enough for them to detect. Gamma radiation detectors, X-rays. We can detect those. Neutron emissions we can detect. So they call them quasars. So an energy being released one way or another out of a black hole, and it's kind of weird when it does that, though. These kind of jets that energetically spew out for one reason or another. But they've seen the ships, the Doppler ships on them. We got specialized satellites watching this stuff. They're still scratching our heads on a lot of things in the universe. There was also rumors, and they were still talking about this one for decades, whether or not we actually got a planet X out there. Well, let's see. Wait a second. We already discovered in our solar system we've got planetoids. If you want to call them that, or exoplanets or something like that. Exoplanets outside the solar system. But we got these planetoids that even poor Pluto became one of them. In name only. That are in our solar system. The Oort cloud is a huge barrier of sorts, of material and of masses of various degrees in there. Yeah, we have our own galaxy and a solar system of just planet-sized stuff out there, just waiting for us to explore in the next 200 or 300 years. If mankind actually gets off his dead ass and starts getting science rocking and rolling, we actually have engineering going, so we can actually go out there to see what's going on and start colonizing stuff and mining stuff and make things commercialized. Really expand upon our solar system here. Hell, maybe we can make ourselves a Dyson sphere. How about that one? Wouldn't that be nice? Dyson sphere mined from every damn resource we have in the solar system into this one huge shell of life support, so that everyone else can live in a damn thing. I thought about the concept of the Dyson sphere. I saw it on Star Trek Next Generation, but I never did figure the thing out. I still have figuring other shapes that we've thought about. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's an engineering feat, but you got dead space around the satellite, and you got a dying star in there. After it goes out, then what do you do? The star's got some millions and millions of years. Yeah, well, after that, then what? You got social engineering in this whole huge sphere. Do you have a way of getting ships out? Do you have ships to get out, in and out? Are you going to be doing commerce or something like that? I don't know. Someone was trying to write up science fiction stuff about this one. Kind of got my attention on it. Read a couple of books about it. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, the storyline sounds fine and Jim Dandy at this point over here, but how's it going to affect everybody else, I wonder? It'll be an engineering feat of marvel to look at, you know. And the question is, why? Unless they wanted to protect themselves from the universe itself. And everybody else would just be residing in a sphere. But nothing else. It's one thing you got satellites floating around with habitable homes. Having space capability of traveling from one biome to another. Those things I can get into. Those things I can try figuring stuff out and feel comfortable with. I don't feel comfortable with the politics happening these days. I don't feel people trying to force their paranoia on everybody else, saying you must follow this one because I'm going nuts and I want to take you with me. You're going to go with me. Otherwise, I'm going to drive you nuts. Well, you're going to drive me nuts anyway, just staying right there and saying you're going to drive people nuts. What else is new? You don't understand. Well, you haven't made me understand except how to fear you. What's your major malfunction? Except you got a major malfunction. But it's the Trump. No, it's your own fear and paranoia going on. What's your issue? I'm not a shrink. I'm dealing with my own damn fear and paranoia right now as it is. I get older, and I'm starting to worry less. Some occasions I do, but some things I still have to figure out on my own and still work with it. So I'm trying not to let everything else go nuts. Let them go nuts. I don't care. I'm doing what I got to do right now. That's enough of me blathering right now. I still need sleep. I haven't slept in over several hours. And yes, I'm getting itchies in my hands. My damn palms are itching. Damn neuropathy's kicking in. Gee, what do I got to worry about?